When you base your life on your values, your decisions and actions come easily and delay becomes negligible. That's where I think I am. I love my work. I love everything I do. If somebody offered me something I didn't want to do, I wouldn't put it in my diary. Therefore, no need to procrastinate over something I don't want to do. Everything's easy. And there's no delay round here, Shay Judith. I don't want to be a girly show-off swat here, but in this one area, I've got it sussed.
You have. You're absolutely correct.
Welcome to Own It, Your Business and Your Life, with Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything you need to embrace to become a successful entrepreneur, marketing, money, and much, much more. How to create a business doing just what you love. How to own it, your business and your life. This one will be fast, funny, feisty, and very lively. So sit back and enjoy the show.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I've gone all woo-woo. Thought you'd like that. I will divulge more, but tell me what the weather's doing in South London, because it's blooming miserable down in Shoreham.
Yes, aujourd'hui il pleut. Today it is raining.
Aujourd'hui, I remember that. Il
pleut. It's raining. That's my 50% French fluency before Janet Swift sent me something on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it, that says nobody ever needs to learn a language ever again, because you download an app on your iPhone, you stick something in your ear, and you can be with as long as the person you're in conversation with has the same equipment, you can translate in real time.
Well, that's the problem, is it? 90% of the 99.9% of the people in France won't have the same equipment.
Well, no, they won't. But no, I'm not thinking of this time. But I'm thinking in future, people won't need to learn languages because an app and an earbud replaces the need. Can you believe it?
No, I don't think it will 100% replace the need. I think people will always seek mastery.
Well, I hope you're right, Nicola. It's a funny old-fashioned idea, but when Janet showed me this, I went, oh, look, no, I've just spent 2 months, getting to 50% fluency. Quite a lot of hard work. Well, no, quite a lot of work. I'm up to, I've doubled and trebled my thing. I've already done it this morning. More than half an hour, less than an hour a day for 2 months is no mean commitment. And then to see this thing which goes, oh, you don't need to bother anymore. I thought, I had an old fogey moment. I went, oh, we don't really need to do anything anymore, do we? We'll just download the app.
Yeah, but we won't, because I don't know about you, but think about bookkeeping as a good example, okay? There are all these lovely bookkeeping and accounting packages, and there are, I use one, Xero, but I don't 100% trust it. I still like to run my cash flow on a good old-fashioned spreadsheet because I want to have mastery of my own cash flow.
Yes, or you could learn Xero.
Well, I have got Xero, but I don't 100% trust things.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is you could use it, learn it. I don't know why you don't 100%. I would trust anything like Xero. Accounting packages are trustworthy. I mean, actually, the key with accounting packages, and possibly with learning French as well, is that if in any sense it doesn't work, it's operator error.
Yes, but how do you puzzle out the operator error when you can't see the workings of the thing?
Well, that's what I spent 20 years of my career doing, Nicola. Thank you for asking.
How's your week been work-wise and living-wise, camping-wise?
Well, I thought you might go first, because actually most of my contribution to this week's podcast is in this first section.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Phoebe and Nelson are back. They've been staying at a luxury villa in Ibiza, which Joe, Irving's girlfriend, treated them all with her two as well, to an amazing week in Ibiza. And Irving ended up at the age of 60 in Pasha nightclub, which is apparently a big castle with lots of different musical areas. And the Snapchats were hilarious, because my Snapchats went from the kids and Irving in Pasha, with this world famous DJ who I remember very well, and that was complete mayhem. And then the next Snapchat was Matt Duggan at a little country dancing in Scotland, which was such a brilliant contrast. And that's one of the things I love about Snapchat, is you get to see people's lives, behind the scenes, and they are so
how funny
around the world.
How funny, because that's something I'm going to say something very similar later on.
Oh, okay. And the other thing is, obviously, Phoebe Nelson was inspired because this luxury villa was owned by a deep house DJ. And I think he was inspired, because he is a DJ and he wants to be a DJ and he wants to be a music producer. And I think he was totally inspired by the fact that you can buy a villa like that from the proceeds of being a DJ. And Phoebe definitely is now back on an absolute mission to create an income online, because she's going back to the pub and she's very grateful to be doing that. But she doesn't want to be working in the pub for the rest of her life, much as she loves it at the moment. So interesting how, staying in such, it had a sound system all over the villa that they could put tunes to the playlist from their iPhones. Extraordinary.
My brother has that in his house. That's the fun we were having at Christmas time. Yes, it's only sort of Apple Telly or something like that does that.
Yeah, then you have to have speakers all over the shop, don't you? And they had speakers out around the pool and everything.
Yeah.
It's another kind of lifestyle, really. But yeah, so it was good. I've had a great week. I had some grief counselling on Monday, which I'm not absolutely sure I'm going to continue with, because if you've done any kind of personal development, and we've done a lot, then the stuff she was trotting out sounded like platitudes to me. They were very, very remedial level, CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. Indeed, she was a lovely person. But I'm not convinced that it's my sort of. I think I need something a bit.
Well, there might be a better person, because obviously the majority of people haven't done personal development, and basic level CBT is probably what she meters out to most of the people that she sees, given that almost nobody in the UK does talk therapy.
Yeah.
So it probably fits most of her people.
Yeah.
Did you say, I've done a lot of personal development, you seem to me to be meeting out, junior level stuff. Can you adapt it to fit me, or should I seek another therapist? That's what I would have said.
Well, I think I'm going to say that next time, because I didn't want to knock it on the first go, really.
Yeah.
Very sweet. So, yeah. And the thing,
as I always say in my work, the client drives. Ask for what you need. If she's not giving you what you need, and you've got 6 sessions, have you? How many have you got?
Got 10. 10 to
10, right. Well, then I'd make sure that she can adapt to you for the remaining 9.
Yeah, okay. All right, I will. Because I don't want to take up her time. That could be used for someone else who's more.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that. You've got the 10 sessions. You've got to make sure you get out of them what you want. You'd say the same to a client of yours.
Yeah, I would. You're right. Yeah, so that's the week, really. We continue to use our gusto with much glee every evening. We look forward to a different meal every night, and Sarah drives me to get off the computer early because she wants to eat earlier, and that's really helping me to, the pounds are starting to creep off, so that's good news. So
I think Sarah's right. About eating earlier. The earlier we eat, the more, the sooner we can digest it, and we don't go to sleep on it.
Yeah, and also you've got a longer fasting period, which apparently...
Yes, that's right. It's a funny old people used to have their supper early, but and I don't think this is a stage of life thing. I think it's reading the nutrition books and realising that you don't want to have the majority of your calories at bedtime.
Yeah, and also you need to have at least 10 to 12 hours fasting a day, which is obviously much easier when you're asleep.
Yes. I quite frequently now sort of have my lunch and supper combined at about 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So then my fasting is quite long indeed, which is nice.
Yeah, that's good. Excellent. Okay. So, you going to tell us about your?
Yes, I've got loads of things to tell you in here. I'll start with a funny one. The day before yesterday, the D on my 6.5-year-old keyboard on my MacBook Pro stopped working, and I attempted, and this was a mistake, a home fix.
Uh-oh.
and broke it. And in so doing, well, I didn't break it actually. I saw how to fix it by a tiny little video on YouTube, but I didn't have the eyesight or the tools for it, or the patience, to be honest. And so I abandoned it. And in so doing, I've disabled the 2 letters next to it, which is A and S, I think. So I tried to get somebody to home visit and fix it for me, but they all wanted to replace the keyboard, and it's not worth it because it's 6.5 years old and I need a new one. So my computer men couriered me down a new keyboard to replace the old keyboard, plug and play, and indeed I plugged it and it did play. However, the U doesn't work on the new keyboard, so I now have to use a combination of 2 keyboards to write anything at all for the foreseeable future.
Oh my God, that's just horrendous.
I can write everything on the plug and play one, but then I have to go back and put all the U's in on my laptop one. And Eric, my computer man, is abroad until this weekend. And with the best will in the world, even if I get to have a consultation with him on Monday and Tuesday about replacing my hardware, it's going to take a week or 10 days to do it. And he and I have been trying to have this conversation for a long time. And I thought I'd be able to get through until I broke the D. And I think breaking the D is like the straw that's broke the camel's back. It's also, that's why I'm speaking to you on my iPad, been overheating quite horribly recently. And there's nothing I can do to fix that. No. And even in the nice cool weather today, it still does it. So the poor old lady is going home and I am using 2 keyboards to type an email and a newsletter.
Is this an opportunity to try audio where you speak into it and it?
No, because my fingers do the typing.
Oh, okay.
I don't type with my mouth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do. I know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. It's straight from the brain to the keyboard, really, on autopilot. I'm a very fast typist.
Yeah.
No, it'll be fine. I can manage. You just type freely and then you go back and put all the U's in, which is a bit annoying. But anyway, mostly lovely weather. Last week's podcast was very funny because, we have this sort of 9-day delay before it goes out. Yeah. And in that one, we're talking about the fact that they keep promising us a heat wave, but there's no sign of it. Well, by the time that went live, we were in the middle of a monster heat wave in the UK, which, I've slept on my sofa bed in my camping mode here with the French windows open every night for more than a week.
God, that's very brave.
Well, I was brave the first night, but I'm not frightened in the least now. Anyway, the other good news in this section is I've had a couple of days on the green juice this week. You can probably tell by the energy in my voice.
Yeah.
And I've worked out that for July, I will have worked 67 hours, this is very, very exciting because that's approximately half a day, which you'll remember a couple of months back, I said I wanted to get it down to so that when I go on my travels, I've actually got half a day to go out and see where I am in the world. Now, I went further, you won't be surprised, and worked out that 30% of that was marketing time, and the rest of it I'm either one-to-one with clients or with group clients. So I'm quite chuffed that when I eventually get liberated from London, I will have afternoons in the sunshine.
That's lovely. And did you say 6 to 7 hours or 67 in the whole month?
67 in a month.
Oh, okay.
Which is not all that many, actually.
What's that a day?
I can't reach my calculator. 67 divided by 4. 4 into 6 goes once with 2 left over. 6 fours are 24. 6 fours are about 14 a week. I don't really work Fridays. 3 or 4 a day.
Oh, that's marvellous.
I think it's half a day.
Tim Ferris, eat your heart out.
Oh, well, I know. Yes, I'm quite pleased about it, actually. So I think that's everything I've got to tell you in this section. Shall we move along to what's fueled your fire?
Yes.
Oh, let me go first, if you wouldn't mind, because mine relates directly to what you've just said.
Okay.
What's fueled my fire? The love-hate relationship with Facebook, but this is a love thing, and you said it. Facebook makes it possible for me to see photos of my clients having a lovely time on their holidays and having wonderful lives, which is precisely part of what I coach them to have. And to be able to follow them in their first visits to Venice and Florence and wherever they are in the world and see them happy and smiling with their families and lightly tanned brings a great joy to my life.
Yeah, absolutely. And the people talk about how seeing other people having a wonderful life is detrimental to people, but I actually think it's rather inspirational and lovely.
Well, I think it's a strange old thing because the reason you and I don't find it detrimental is because we don't suffer from the thing that it preys into, which is everybody else's life is better than mine. I can't remember. The comparisonitis.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Do you do that? I don't do that. I don't look at other people's lives and think, oh, mine's dull.
No, I do look at other people's mailing lists and think I'd rather like a mailing list.
Mailing list envy. Yeah.
Yes. Who's got the biggest one?
Yes. So what's fueled your fire?
Well, lots of woo-woo.
Oh, yes, good. Tell me.
Well, because you'd be astonished, really. I mean, basically, because I've got nothing else technical to do, really, although I have started a new training course, which I'm going to talk about in Who or What's Impressed. I have all I've got to do is muck about on Facebook or, on social media. And I've done some little tweakings behind the scene, and I've been honing everything down. So basically, I've just got 2 websites now, nicolacairncross.com and clicksandleads.com. And because I'm honing down to as minimal and getting everything set up in the way that I want to move forward for the rest of my life, I've got more time on my hands. And what I've been doing with that time, because obviously the kids only came back yesterday, is I've been going back to some woo-woo books. So I've read a few of my favourites, and I've also watched the Tony Robbins documentary on Netflix, which is well worth watching. It's called I Am Not Your Guru, and it's extremely interesting because I've never been a big fan of Tony, but I can see why people are now. And I've just been exploring lots of the law of attraction thinking and, the manifesting thing. And I watched an amazing video by Vishen Lakhani. I think Sarah must have shared it originally. It's called, I can't say it because it will make our entire podcast explicit, but it's become uneffable, uneff-withable.
Yes.
Uneff-withable with me.
Yeah.
And it's a really great. He's got a book which I think we should all read. Which is let me find it. See if I got it here. I did dig all this stuff out, Judy. So I got links to give you straight after the call.
Lovely, lovely.
Called his book, "The Code of the Extraordinary Mind." That discover the 10 unconventional laws to redefine your life and succeed on your own terms. And I think what's occasioned this is moving all of the videos that I've ever created into my membership area and realizing that I can give people tactics till I'm blue in the face, but it's all about what goes on between their ears, whether they use those tactics, finish the course, take the action, etc., etc. And I've had several conversations this week with people that have been extremely interesting and have ended up with them coming up with some extraordinary limiting beliefs that I just thought, I can't believe I'm having these conversations again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to be moving in the near future more and more away from tactics and more towards what's the word I'm looking for?
Mindset.
The mindset stuff, yeah.
Mm.
Because it is it's not what you think you need at the beginning. You think you need tactics and direction and plans. But once you've cracked the tactics, which I know how to get traffic now, I know how to do all the technical stuff, I know how to do that. Everything else comes down to what you're thinking.
Yes.
And I know this is not news to you.
No, I know. Yeah. And I tell you what's fascinating about what you're saying, really, not the embracing of woo-woo, although that's interesting. We've both just said the same thing. In the first section, I said, look, I've got my work down to half a day a day from a full day a day. In fact, more than a full day a day. I'm a person who can work from 10 till 10 or 8 till 8 or whatever. I do whatever's necessary. But you've always been a workaholic as well. And what you've said is I've streamlined my work so much, I'm not particularly busy anymore. So funnily enough, our podcast has worked for us after 90 episodes, which is what we're on today.
Oh,
We've actually got our businesses into a better place, respectively, by practicing what we preach here week after week.
by talking every week, yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating, isn't it? And
Brilliant.
One of the people on Vision's video, which you've got to see, is a lady called Marissa Peer, who I've mentioned before, haven't I?
You have, yes. And do you know she's so close friend of Paula MacArthur, and she and John are our guest on the summit. They holidayed with the Peers.
Wow, okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
5 degrees of separation, that's amazing.
Exactly. In somewhere like Santorini, I think they all went to. I don't know whether Marissa Peer's got a house in Santorini. She certainly organised the holiday. Anyway, there you go.
Well, the thing about Marissa Peer is her entire thing is based around the fact that she's got lots of celebrity clients and she's a very highly qualified therapist, I think. But
she stepped into the Paul McKenna space a bit.
She has very much so, and with Vision. She just stands out. She's the most the video I talked about last time, which is where she talks about I am enough. It's the most downloaded Mind Valley video ever. So
wow.
And the thing that I'm so impressed about is it is such a simple concept. In fact, on the fridge and on several mirrors now and on various pictures around the house, we've got I am enough written down. And it's just it's coming back to that one thing, isn't it? She says that's at the root of everyone's problems.
That is a message I disseminate quite a lot. Whenever I see it on Facebook, I always share it with either my profile, my page, or one or other of my groups, because I think that's where comparisonitis comes from. You know, I'm not enough because everybody else is having a nicer time than me, or haven't earned enough yet. They're clearly earning more than me, or, you know, they're thinner than me, or taller than me, or whiter than me, or blacker than me, or pinker than me, or, you know what I mean? It's just madness. Oh, I'm not Kardashian enough yet. You know, the cult of celebrity has a lot to answer for here, and airbrushing. Don't start me.
No, don't start me. Airbrushing.
Okay, so it's your journey into woo-woo going on, or is it a 1 week excursion only?
No. I've got nothing else to do, Judith. It might as well.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? That's it. What we're saying is, look, we've got afternoons off.
Yes, and those afternoons are being spent on simultaneously. What's the word I'm looking for? I'll be doing. Well, I'm going to tell you in my project updates what I've been doing, but it's about inwards and outwards. And it's about absorbing amazing stuff and then sharing it. It's like a flow. I'm in the flow, Judith. Oh, God.
Okay, good.
Help. Oh, my God.
If you are bored by working for someone else, or tired of trading time for money, or a business owner who's ready to travel and have adventures, then Own It the Summit is for you. We interviewed 18 inspiring entrepreneurs enjoying unique lives. Now you can dip into those lives and decide which of the business models will work for you. Our interviews will show you how to design your dream life beyond the laptop and how to live and work in your favourite ways and places. Our intrepid 18 share the tools and techniques they use to work on the go and what living and working in total freedom really feels like. Find out more at ownitthesummit.com.
So, client challenge of the week. No, what's fueled your...
Oh, well, no, I've done that. That was my Facebook pictures.
Okay,
I was short on this section. Yeah, so client challenge of the week, we're reverting, unless you've got one, we're reverting to Thomas Leonard. And funnily enough, the new you that's presenting herself today will embrace this one deliciously. The old you wouldn't have liked it at all.
Oh, well, let's try it then.
Yes, number 12, eliminate delay. Right, try this on and think where Thomas was coming from, because actually I think we might be 50-50 about this. Respond immediately to your every task or concern. Take pride in doing it. Set up a system and make sure anyone who deals with you never experiences delay. Exert extra effort to learn quickly and immediately integrate whatever changes are necessary. Here are some tips to guide you. Number 1. When faced with a difficult decision, rather than trying to process the pros and cons, figure out how to reduce risk and consequences of both options instead. Number 2. Ooh, this is a good one. Procrastination is a form of anger/resentment. Identify what you're ticked about that is causing you to procrastinate. God, my clients are going to love that one. Number 3. When you base your life on your values, your decisions and actions... Oh, beg your pardon. When you base your life on your values, your decisions and actions come easily and delay becomes negligible.
Yes, I definitely go along with that last one, but you have to know what your values are, don't you, to be able to do that?
Well, I don't think it's that difficult. I mean, even if you can't put a name to them, it'll go back to that your anger, resentment about procrastination.
Well,
see, I, as you know, I go to bed every night with inbox 0, and I never procrastinate, and I don't understand why people procrastinate. And last weekend, one of my clients shared yet another tool for beating procrastination. And I don't want to sound like, you know, the smartest girl in the class here or anything, but the reason I don't have any procrastination issues is because there's nothing in my diary that I don't want to do. So why would I procrastinate about anything? I just get crack on with today's work, as Mark Forster would have said. You know, and if you've got more work than you can do today, you've got more work than one woman can do.
Okay, so I don't know if I agree with him about...
No, I knew you wouldn't, but I think the new you might. I think the new you could get into this.
Yeah, well, okay, so let's just say, first of all, what because I have to think about procrastination a lot, because a lot of my clients procrastinate something shocking.
Yeah.
And they usually procrastinate something shocking because they're scared, not because they're angry or resentful. They're scared of making a decision and it being the wrong decision. And
yes, but he would say that goes back to something you're angry and resentful about. Because if you make that decision and it goes well, what will happen? Oh, well, somebody I'm pissed off with won't like it.
And a lot of some of the readings I've been doing around procrastination recently say that it's a natural state for human beings, because sometimes if you did something too quickly, it was too risky. Your risk profile, it's people like me who take quick action and who don't delay, which comes to his first point. Then we often end up in risky situations, and it's the people who procrastinate to take risks that end up fulfilling the gene pool, because
Well, I think procrastination. I agree with the principle of what you're saying, but the word you mean for the second lot of people isn't procrastination. Yes, you and I think fast and act fast, and that gets us into hot water sometimes. And the people that don't are more reflective and more thoughtful. I don't think they're procrastinating. Procrastination means I've got to get this done and I don't want to do it.
No, it's resistance.
I think there's another way, or I want to get, whatever. But it's not. I don't think that's what people who make thoughtful decisions. I don't think they're procrastinating. I don't think they're putting it off. I think they know they need time to consider the pros and cons, and he addresses that here, doesn't he? When faced with a difficult decision, rather than trying to process the pros and cons, figure out how to reduce risk and consequences of both options instead. And I think that's what those thoughtful people are doing.
So all the people who call themselves procrastinators, or we call procrastinators.
I think they're procrastinating. No, they're all procrastinators. They're all procrastinators. I don't know why they procrastinate, Nicola. All I know is why I don't, because I'm not afraid of success. There's nothing in my diary I don't want to do. I don't accept commissions to do something that I won't enjoy. Why is there a reason in my life to procrastinate?
Hang on. So the main reason that I see people presenting is that they're afraid to make the wrong decision. So you don't have that fear.
No.
No, neither do I.
I have confidence in my own ability to make a decision. Okay, lots of them have turned out wrong, but ones that I make, they don't only involve me. When you make a decision, often it's around projects that involve other people, and you can't control that, and that's why it goes wrong.
Yeah, and also you've got to be confident in your ability to act on the feedback from a decision. And if it's if it's only by making a decision that you can get any feedback, whether that's feedback from the market or feedback from someone else or whatever. So and you can swiftly correct. I think people imagine that a decision once made is permanent, that it has to be, that's it forever.
Yes, that we can't renegotiate. Yes. Yeah. I don't know whether this is about decisions. I think the procrastination that I see my clients doing is over pieces of work. I need to rewrite my website to more currently reflect what I offer. I've taken on this commission for this piece of work, and I can't see the deadline's looming, and I can't really do the work until the deadline's right on top of me. I've got all this work to do, and I've just sat and stared at Facebook all day, all that kind of stuff. And mostly, I think it's fear of not being good enough.
Yeah.
If I finish the project and get it out in the world, the client might not like it. And I always go, yeah, but the client might love it. I think they're catastrophizing. I think they're making up doomsday scenarios. They are better than they know, which is why we come back to the "I am good enough" message. They're better than good enough. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. Funny, I was just thinking exactly the same as we were talking about it. Is the "I am," they don't feel enough. Wow. Okay, we're going right round in lovely, delicious circles today, aren't we? Everything's
well, I think it's one of those ones. I'm going to go back to the beginning again and read it slowly. Respond immediately to your every task and concern, taking pride in doing it. Now, if you do that, you end up with quite a short to-do list because you've done everything.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse, actually. You've got to get to that thing you don't want to do. Because quite a lot of my clients will go, well, I've got this and this and this, and now the kids are on holiday, and all reasons why they can't do the thing.
Yeah. I get quite exasperated. I mean, I had to write something I want to talk about. One of the things that I'm going to talk about in the project thing is that I've been starting to work through the Ask book by Ryan Levesque. I interviewed Ryan a while ago, and there's an interview on the Business Success Factory. He's a very nice man. And I've started to work through the book at the weekend. And I suddenly realised that if I was going to follow his system, I was going to have to write 36 emails, because all three of my buckets, business mind, business marketing, business money, needed 12 emails written. And I thought, oh my God, that is just horrendous. But then I thought, okay, so what will make this task easier? Okay, so planning it out on one sheet of paper. So I drew out 12 boxes and I put in each one, email 1, email 2, email 3. And seeing it like that made it a lot easier to do. And I have cracked out 36 emails in 4 days. And I'm really bloody proud of that. But, it was something, a piece of work I didn't really want to have to do, but I knew it was absolutely necessary. And I got it done.
And I've employed that strategy this week with a client who said, I've got so much to do, where do I start? Well, you brainstorm a list of all the things you could do, then you pick the first one, then you chunk it down.
Yeah.
This all seems so obvious to me, not your strategy, and I think that I can see you doing that, actually. But, I don't understand why people struggle with this. I know that they do, because as they see it. But that seems obvious to me. If I was stuck with that problem, I'd do exactly what you did. I probably wouldn't even always need to do it on a piece of paper unless it was like 36. If it's like, what's the most important? Actually, one thing that works every day is what's the most important thing to do today.
Yeah, the one thing.
And actually, if you're not going to do it first and you end up doing it last because you're a procrastinator, you can't go to bed until you've done it.
Well, you shouldn't go to bed until you've done it.
No, have some bloody discipline, people. Get a grip. Now, let me keep going. Set up a system and make sure anyone who deals with you never experiences delay.
Bit out of
I know you. Yes, I know you won't like that one. Don't make people wait. And yet, we can make them wait. We can make them wait when they PM us on Facebook out of office hours. We can make them wait for a reply to an email that comes at 9 or 10 or 11 o'clock at night. We can make them wait, and we can put boundaries around our work. It doesn't mean we have to be awake 24/7 on caffeine tablets replying to people's emergency needs. We just need to be available reasonably. So you remember the old Mark Forster thing, if your working hours are 9 to 5 or whatever it is, people can reasonably expect a prompt reply in that time. Outside that, they can wait till tomorrow.
Well, his point was,
if I can't ever reply to somebody, I will say, I acknowledge receipt of this. I'll reply within 48 hours.
Yeah, and Mark Foster used to say that you replied tomorrow to the things that came in today. So I
think that was just a way of getting people, training people to understand if they've got more than one day's work. So what he recommended initially was that you corral everything that comes in today and try and deal with it in full tomorrow. And if you can't, it's because what comes into you in one day is more than one person's work.
Yeah, that's a nice.
But after a while, if you're on top of everything, you can do today's work today.
Yeah.
But some things take, some things, even for you and me, take longer than our typically quick replies. And sometimes if somebody sends me a very long email or a complex email, or I've got to think about it, or I've got to clear the decks, I will acknowledge it so they're not worried that they haven't had a reply, and say, I need some time to think about this, or I want to sleep on it, or something like that.
Yeah.
But you may expect my reply by close of business Monday or something.
Yeah, I've done, as part of this ask method thing, I sent an email to my mailing list saying, hit reply and tell me what you're working on or struggling with or feeling at the moment. And some of those emails have been quite long and endless and convoluted. And it was interesting how many of them didn't actually ask me a question at the end of it. They just told me their circumstances, and I had to try and discern what they needed from me, which was quite an interesting process. And the other interesting process...
Or somebody like Neil Asher would have gone back and said, so what's your question then?
Yes, I have done on several occasions.
Yeah.
The other one was that there was one person who sent me a very long email. I mean, it really was like a page of A4. And there was one sort of question in there, and I was able to just pick out that one thing and send back a question about that thing to elaborate a little bit more. But woolly thinking, I think that's what that is, isn't it? It's the ability, it's the inability to work out what one thing is most important.
So let me just finish one sentence in this preliminary bit. Exert extra effort to learn quickly and immediately integrate whatever changes are necessary. So he's recommending we set up a system that eliminates delay. Now I want to go back to the 2 points at the end. Procrastination is a form of anger, resentment. Identify what you're ticked about that is causing you to procrastinate. So delve into the root cause of your procrastination and bust that, whatever it is. Now, it's not an overnight thing, that, but don't take on work you don't really want to do unless you've got to for the moment for the money. So, for instance, if I took on something with a long deadline, I wouldn't necessarily wait till the end. I don't really like sweating on deadlines. I was brought up, my parents brought me up that wherever we went, we were always early. And usually for them, it was so that we'd go to the pub for a gin and tonic first. But, we're early. There's an inbuilt cushion all the time to everything. So if anything goes wrong, if there's traffic or the car breaks down or the D breaks off the computer keyboard or something, it doesn't matter. You've got a buffer. So, procrastination, what's underlying your procrastination? I don't think this is an overnight thing, but I do think if you are a procrastinator and you notice yourself doing it, just keep asking yourself questions. Why am I doing it? Because the client might not like it. Well, what if whatever it is. Now, this is the key here. When you base your life on your values, your decisions and actions come easily and delay becomes negligible. That's where I think I am. I love my work. I love everything I do. If somebody offered me something I didn't want to do, I wouldn't put it in my diary. Therefore, no need to procrastinate over something I don't want to do. Everything's easy and there's no delay round here, Shay Judith. I don't want to be a girly show-off swat here, but in this one area, I've got it sussed.
You have. You're absolutely correct. I was just thinking about me going into the chemist yesterday and buying 2 of everything. You'd be so proud of me. The woman looked at me very strangely. But I've started to do that as a matter of habit now because I want that buffer too. So can I ask, okay, so here's the thing, right? What if you're in a position where you have to do something because it's bringing the money in and you don't want, it's not what you want to do, but you are not then pushing yourself to do the thing that you do want to do long term?
Oh, sorry. Could you do that again? That was a rather complicated question with lots of double negatives in it. I lost the will to live halfway through.
Okay, so you must have clients, as do I.
Yes.
And I have been in this situation myself. Is that the thing that brings in the most money is the thing that you don't want to be doing forever. Now, I'm a little bit different because I am working at the same time on the side on the thing that I do want to be doing forever.
Yes.
But a lot of people find it really impossible to do the thing that they want to be doing forever because they are taken up with having to do the thing that brings the money in. And they don't seem to be able to do both at once.
Well, I think what's quite interesting is that if the one thing that you don't particularly want to be doing forever is paying you reasonably, you've got enough time to be working on the other one. The difficulty is most of my clients in startup situations have to do at least a part-time job. I had to when I was a coach, had to keep accounting for the first 5 years or something. You have to do that. And what is happy is if the daily rate you command, as I did as an accountant, is sufficient to pay your bills in a couple of days a week, because then you've got the time. If you've got to go and flip burgers, you're stuffed because you have to do a 90-hour shift and there's no energy left for anything at all. So you've got to try and set up a flow of income from less than your time and energy quotient that keeps you alive while you're working on your new thing. Now, the procrastination I see, my clients are already working on their new thing.
And that's where they're procrastinating.
Yeah, because of the underlying personal development issues. What will they think? Well, will it be good enough? What if it doesn't work?
So difficult, isn't it?
Well, more personal development is the answer. Never stop the personal development. And if life's getting tougher, crank it up.
Yes, exactly. The tougher life gets, the more you need the person.
Yeah, do more. Absolutely right. Gandhi said it. I've got to meditate twice as hard today because I've got a particularly thorny day.
Yeah. And I'm really, really coming around to that way of thinking.
Yeah, and actually it can be quite varied. It can, having your dinner at 6 o'clock with gusto counts as self-care in this regard. If we go to James, what's his name? My American blogger, James.
American
begins
blogger.
with James, I've forgotten his name now. Toucher, that's it, yes. When life gets difficult, he strips it back to, got to eat before X hours before bedtime, you've got to go to bed at a certain time, you've got to be in there for a nice long time, you've got to get up early and do exercise, and you've got to brainstorm a lot of ideas on waiters' notepads. That's his thing for getting back. He says if you practice that for a month or 3 or 6, you can't fail to come back. And, everybody's got a rock bottom place of, as long as I have a green juice today, or as long as I do yoga today, or as long as I write in my journal today, or whatever it is, everything's going to be all right sooner or later. We've got to have a minimal level of spiritual practice going on. It's self-care practice. As long as we record the podcast every week. That's the thing. Well, as long as you've got some routines to hang your life on, yes. Yeah. I as long as I go for a walk every day for some of my clients, it would be. Yeah. Because they're nature lovers that heal when they're out in nature with the garden. And when you're out there walking your dog in the nearest wood, it all feels, your problems recede because you realise you're a micro dot. You're in the moment. You're and also that you're it's all in your head. You've made most of it up. You're making a fuss about nothing. You've got to go back to the office and crack on. Crack on. Really good. I'm watching, and I just recommend here for anyone who wants to realise what a micro dot we are and how silly all this is. Watch the Professor Brian Cox series at the moment. What's it called? Forces of Nature. Oh my God, it's just the most amazing mind-bending series I've ever watched. It's all about, it goes from a snowflake up to the universe and zooms in between. It's just astonishing. It really is. And that really makes you realise how, not how insignificant we are, but how everything we are. Because I was going to say how insignificant we are, and yet how vital and important we are as well. Yes. Totally. And it really did. He was talking about something last night that's sort of glimmering around the edges of my conscience. I can't quite remember exactly what it was, but it just made me feel on a very profound level. Oh, I know what it was. It was the space-time continuum he was talking about, and how every single moment in our lives is still happening out there somewhere. And I thought, oh God, that's really, really mind-bending. That is, because that means that everything that's happened to you that's wonderful, and everything that's happened to you that's terrible is still going on, which is wonderful when you think about the wonderful things. But it's also brilliant when you think about the terrible things, because you've moved on. We are on a ball that is spinning. We're going around right now, Judith. You in South London and me in Shoreham. We're going around at 650 miles an hour. We are on something, and we are travelling through space at 650 miles an hour. That is just unbelievable. But what it means on the space-time continuum is we've left everything behind because we're moving. And so even though those things are still happening, and those things that people are catastrophizing about are in the future, there is also an infinite number of other possibilities in the future. And this is why woo-woo makes sense, and this is why quantum physics and these science programs are all catching up and proving that now, which is, the very fact that you can say something like we're unimportant, but we're everything. We're everything is the essence of woo-woo. And the thing that you've just said about, everything that's happened and yet to happen is reverberating out there. That's all we're talking about, really. We're all infinitely connected. And, we are just energy. You go into the atom and, the tiniest thing, and we're just reverberating energy. And what I love most about all of that, which I'm sure the listeners are cracking up about as they walk their dogs and walk around to Sainsbury's and things, is just as we get to our most profound moment in 90 episodes, the postman is stuffing things. Well, hurrah for that postie, because, as well as the esoteric and the philosophical, we need the practical and the everyday. It wouldn't have been so bad, but there was not one but 2 packages from Amazon. I hope that's more woo-woo books being delivered. Absolutely, yes, it is. It's visions, probably. Well, all right, so now 10:43, let's stop it here. Eliminate delay, loves, is the message, and get to the root of your procrastination and just get rid of it. And make a decision and take action and get the feedback and carry on. Yes, and do your work today. Eliminate delay. Stop. Yeah. Good. Stop, go walk your dog and come back and crack on. That's our prescription. Yes, it is, yes. Word of the week, then. Oh, well, I've got one. I haven't had time to look it up to see whether it's true, but I saw it on Facebook. I hope it's true, because it's so perfect for what we've talked about today. It's Quaintrell, Quaintrell. Quaintrelle. A woman who, so Nicola who, Judith who, emphasises a life of passion expressed through personal style, leisurely pastimes, charm, and cultivation of life's pleasures. God, I hope that word's true. I'll look it up.
Yeah. Well, my word of the week, I would choose unf-withable, but it's too.
Yes.
So I'm going to go.
Yes, I know which word it is. I can make it work, Nicola.
Yeah. Okay. So it's actually, its word of the week is segmentation, because that's what I've been obsessed with this week. I've been segmenting my list. I've been putting them into buckets. I've been writing follow-ups that are specifically tailored for the interest that people have expressed, and I'm sure that I'll be doing more and more of that, because the technology exists now, and it's just so. Hopefully, for my subscribers, it'll be so much nicer to get content that is much more aligned to what they're predominantly interested in. So segmentation. Project updates. You go first so I can get over my laughing fit.
Well, I forgot to ask you last week if you had any update for us on the sales letters stats thing.
Oh, well, I do. We haven't made any sales. So
no, I know that, but is there anything that we can look at or measure or see or know?
Yes, very much so. And the reason we haven't made any sales, by the way, is because we're not getting any traffic.
No, I know.
Amounts of traffic.
Yeah. So are we going to pay for some?
Well,
I think we've got $197 in the bank, haven't we?
Okay. Well, in that case, we will have a chat about that just straight after this, and we'll do that, because I think we'll do something, because 10 visits a day is not a sale going to make. But
was there no boom when I put it in my newsletter or anything?
There was a little lift, and ditto when I put it in mine, and I did a mailing about it. And in fact, I've created a follow-up sequence about it, and I'm about to duplicate that follow-up sequence into two other, so there's three, and I'm going to then rewrite that follow-up sequence to be more aligned with the interest that people have expressed. So I'm really going for it on this segmentation front. Okay. And because I've got time to do that stuff now. Right, where are we? Here we are. Own It, the Summit. 236 visits in the last month. And there you go. There is a little rise.
Yeah.
I mailed, I think. And I think one of the others is when you mailed.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the actual page. That's what behaviour, that's what I'm after. So I'm looking at site content, all pages. So in the last 30 days, now let's just knock this down to the last 7 days, because that's a better time frame to look at.
Okay. This might be quite boring for the listener. Sorry, listener.
No, it's not boring for the listener. They love it. It's in the last 7 days, one version of the page has had 9 visits, and one version of the page has had 8 visits. So in 10 visits in 1 week, that is just simply not enough to make any sales.
No, how many do we need in 1 week?
Well, you would think that you'd need 100 visits to a page to make one sale, but we are on quite a high price point, so it might take up to 300 visits to.
Yes, you said that before. Yeah.
So let's just do a quick bit of maths. Get your calculator out, madam.
What's the best way to get visits then, Nicola, with our $197?
Well, if it's going to, we need to work it out first, and everyone else listening should do this as well, because if it's going to take us 50p. Now, some of my clients are getting clicks for 7p, but they're in a very esoteric space. But if we just go into the personal development space, we could probably get clicks for 30 to 50p. And if we got clicks for 50p and we needed 300 of them, how much would that cost?
Yeah. 150 quid. Yeah.
Okay. If we make one sale, it's $197, isn't it? So, so will we even cover our costs?
So we've got we've nearly enough to keep experimenting. So if we use the 197 we've got to attempt to achieve a sale, and then we use the 197 from the sale to refine it and onwards.
Yes, that's a very good point, because the clicks will get cheaper. But what I suggest we do is put an opt-in in front. So we're building a mailing list.
All right.
So we need to discuss what have we got that we could give as a gift.
Okay.
And then jump them to the sales page after that. Because if we can use, if we can convert, I get 50% on my opt-ins sometimes.
Can we give them one of the recordings?
We could.
like a taster.
Yes, that would be good. And we'll discuss which one we think. But
okay.
But the thing is, if we got 300 visitors and we turned 150 of them into mailing list subscribers, and then not only have we got the opportunity to follow up with those people about the summit recordings in a sequence of 12 emails, but we've also got the opportunity to promote other things in the future to those people, which are carefully vetted by us and similar.
Or our own stuff.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I heard about the other day is co-registration, which is someone I know in the betting space, the sports betting space, uses a thing called co-registration, which is where someone opts in, you drive traffic to an opt-in page, they opt in, and they get offered the chance to subscribe to some other things. And I know that Get Response does this as well. And you then, after they've opted in for the other things, they get jumped to your thank you page. So it's a way of offsetting and you get paid for the people that opt into other things. So it is a way of offsetting some of your advertising costs. So I'm going to explain.
We can't use it. I mean, one of my most desired things would be for them to subscribe to my newsletter. We can't use it for getting them to subscribe to whatever we want them to subscribe to.
Because you're not willing to pay. For the point of this co-registration is that the people who want leads will pay for them, and they'll pay.
Yes, I understand that. So it's a way of creating revenue. What I wondered was if there's a way of adapting the system.
But everyone who opts into this mailing list does go into your mailing list.
No, you never managed to automate that. It worked for 2, and I have to do it manually.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something to do.
But we could fix that. It would be nice if we could fix that.
Well, we need to fix that.
Something like what are those things that integrate with MailChimp called that you use?
Zapier.
Yes, if we could get Zapier to do it, that would be wonderful. At the moment, I get a notification, and I put them in batches whenever I write a newsletter.
Happening automatically, okay. Yeah, so this isn't the plan going forward on the summit recordings. We're going to put up an opt-in, and the thank you page will be the summit recording page. We're going to drive traffic from the personal development space because the clicks are cheaper in that space, to the opt-in. We're going to decide which recording would be suitable for people to listen to, that would really warm them up for buying the recordings. And then we're going to look at co-registration, where we can offset the cost of the traffic and the opt-ins initially by offering people sympathetically orientated other newsletters to subscribe to.
You don't think that last one would tick people off?
Well, we'll have to run a test and see, won't we?
Yes, I think we should. We used to do that in the olden days. Do you remember?
I do vaguely remember. It was quite big in the sort of early 2000s, wasn't it? But then it got a bad because people abused it. But
that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Well, this chap's saying that it's as long as you choose, and you can actually, I think, go down as far as vetting the emails that are offered to your people. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, it's stage 2, but stage 1 is just setting up an opt-in, driving traffic to it, and seeing.
And one of the things we could do when it comes to working out which is the recording we want to give away is we could ask in our podcast group.
We could, and then we could split test with 3 different offers on.
Yeah, we could.
Ads.
Yeah, we could. So there's another afternoon hobby for you.
Yeah. Just as I said, I've got nothing to do.
Yeah. Did you want to tell us something about your own project updates in this section?
Yeah. I've been trying to do daily Facebook videos, and you would be astonished how difficult it is to do. I mean, I set a 30-day challenge, then I fell off the wagon on day 2. So I then said, right, it's going to be a 30-day streak. I'm going to keep going till I've done it for 30 days. And of course, I fell off the wagon again on Sunday and Monday. Sunday, because I went to a beautiful garden party where Heather was singing, and we were wandering around someone's gorgeous garden in Steyning in English countryside. Oh my God, it was so gorgeous.
I saw the picture. She was a little sort of blue raised summer house, wasn't she?
It was a shed, yes. A very shed.
I nearly said shed, but I thought better of it.
I must upload the pictures because the garden was just stunning, and there was cake and tea, as there always is on these open gardens, and I love a bit of homemade cake. It reminds me of my nanny. And so Sarah and I had a lovely afternoon, but there was not a shred of internet connection to upload the pictures from, or to do. I was going to sit in this gorgeous garden and do my Facebook Live, but anyway, it didn't get done that day. I think we went to the pub after that, so we didn't. There was too many people around and blah blah blah. But anyway, there's always a reason. It's usually technology or people. So I have done about 8 or 9 Facebook videos on a streak, and then I missed a day, so I'm going to start again. But I'm finding it a really, really easy and enjoyable way to create a video which goes out on Facebook Live. So obviously it draws more people than just like my page. I'm getting interaction with people. I did have a troll who told me I was unengaging and boring. But then I download them and I put them on YouTube, so it's filling up my YouTube channel. And then I'm also putting the most pithy, relevant ones into my membership area. So it's easy, it's enjoyable creating content. I did have a lot of issues with my membership software, but we found out finally it was a theme conflict. So if something's not working on your website, do try disabling all your plugins first and then turning them on one by one. And then failing that, do try swapping temporarily to one of the default WordPress themes and seeing if you still get the issue. Troubleshooting. I'm not good at it because it's methodical, but we have managed to do it this week. So that's my project updates.
Okay, very good.
Who or what's impressed?
Well, do you know, I struggled with this one this week. I thought I was going to have to turn up and say nothing.
Oh dear.
But I did find something, actually. One of my clients, who shall remain nameless, who's been a client for quite a long time. And I think she would be the first to say that she's not really found her niche or her métier or made as much money as she would like or something like that. And she, whilst remaining a paying client, disappeared for a bit. She had a 2-week holiday, but I noticed the newsletters weren't coming. And I sent her a couple of emails saying, where are you? Are you all right? Nothing came back. And then eventually I got one that said, I'm very anxious about turning up at our next call because I know we agreed in the last one I do this, that and the other. And yet again, I haven't done it, da-di-da. But she turned up anyway, which I think is a brave thing to do. And it went really well, and we sort of had another breakthrough. But to turn up to things when you don't want to do it, which fits in with that procrastination thing a bit, it's brave. So I have a client who's impressed me this week. Well, of course, all of my clients have impressed me in little ways, but she impressed me in a big way.
Yeah, because you're right, it is brave, and it is facing your own failures.
Yeah.
And
yes, it is your own. I can't really bear to turn up and say to Judith again, I haven't done anything that we agreed last time.
But it's only by facing that and turning up and talking about why, and then creating some coping strategy or a practical thing like me with my, grid for 12 email writing. It's only by pushing through the embarrassment that you get the tools to do it.
Yeah, we had quite an interesting realization, which was, we've been doing the thing that quite a lot of my clients do, which is I'll do this first so I can do what I really want to do later. And I said, look, we've spent 2 or 3 years and you haven't really created the income you want doing the alternative. Why don't we just go straight to the thing you said you wanted at the beginning? Which seemed unreasonable. We haven't, we've wasted 3 times. 3 years? Why didn't we go there straight away? And so we're going there straight away. That's what we're doing.
Okay. So who or what's impressed me has been a chap called John Penberthy. And I met John on the cruise this year. He's a Brit. And he is a genius with YouTube videos. He's a genius at showing you how to put your YouTube videos on YouTube and really crush it on the 3 to 4 word phrases. So it's a bit SEO orientated, this one. But he's got a launch of his course out at the moment, Tube Traffic Mastery. And I'm not an affiliate, and this isn't an affiliate link or anything like that, but I'm going to give you the link, Judith, because his free videos, in the same way that Ryan Levesque's were so good, his free videos are giving you some really, really nice tips. So if anyone out there's putting videos on YouTube right now, as I am from my Facebook Live videos, if you just follow some of John's tips, you'll get much more traffic and views to your videos than you would otherwise. So I'll put the link in the show notes. It's not an affiliate link. Go and click it happily, and don't necessarily buy his course, but do watch his free videos if you're putting YouTubes on video.
Just for my own curiosity, is it PEM for mother or PEN for nobody?
PEN for nobody, BERTHY, and if you just search Tube Traffic Mastery, you'll find it.
Yeah. I got that. I just needed to know how to spell his first name.
90 or 89?
So 90, episode 90 today.
Oh, blimey. Well, there you go. Episode 90. The link will be in the show notes.
Okay.
Cool. Is that us done?
It is.
Apart from my helpless laughing at the postman, it all went very well.
It's me done. It's the end of term for me today, and the next 5 weeks you'll be in the hands of other women.
Oh my goodness! And what women they are. So
And indeed, yeah.
don't abandon us because Judith's gone. And
I don't think they'll be doing that. Honestly, I don't.
We'll see what happens. Thanks very much, Judith. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, bye, Nicola.
You've been listening to Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. The podcast is called Own It, Your Business and Your Life. Do come and visit us at ownitthepodcast.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can find out more about Judith and visit her on her website at judithmorgan.com, and you can find Nicola at nicolacairncross.com.